Hey there, how's it going everybody? Welcome back. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Alice and I are out in the garden harvesting some lunch, some dinner. There's a lot of options at this point. So really, we just come out here, we kind of look at what's looking the ripest and the most ready to pick, and then we kind of create recipes, sometimes based upon other recipes, but we often just cook without a book around here and just come up with something creative. Here's some bees flying around this borage plant here. But check this out. This is a ground cherry. This is just one plant here that is sprawled out in this raised bed, about 4 by 4 foot spread right now, and it's continually spreading, kind of taking over. But this is why I've mentioned this plant before. It could be a really effective ground cover because you see how dense it is. And you see we got some strawberries that are getting shaded out, growing underneath here. Those strawberry flowers. Anyway, closer inspection, you can see that this plant puts off these little tomatillo looking berries covered in these husks. And what ends up happening is these husks will start to dry out and it will drop the berry at the bottom of the plant, like you can see back over there. This plant is very abundant. I like to just eat these berries out of hand, but you can make a chutney. So this little berry is still on the green side. They're better when they're kind of an orangish tone. Let's see if we can find one that's orange. So the plant's kind of dropping berries right now, even though they're not fully ripe yet. But in about another couple weeks, we should be having some ripe ground cherries. Over in the Garden of Hope area over here, you can see the watermelon sprawling out everywhere. We got some little baby watermelons now starting to come online. And there's some more ground cherry on the ground here. A lot of these are volunteers. We're going to be harvesting a bit of okra amongst some other things today. The okra is just producing. Every day is a good day to pull a harvest from the okra. And I guess Alice is now going to pull a quick harvest of some cherry tomatoes. And over here we got some sweet potato greens or camote tops growing out of the garden. Just wanted to address a common question that's been coming in on the channel lately. We've had quite a few people, I think some from the Philippines, asking us if we're in the Philippines. And no, we're in Northern California, the Bay Area, and this garden is a food forest project that we started 7 years ago. Every year has been great. This year has been the least amount of effort that we've had to put in with the most amount of reward. We're going to try to now harvest some of the taro root that we have growing over in this chicken coop. We've got taro root everywhere, and one thing about this plant, unfortunately, is that it does require a lot of water. You can just see little shoots coming up there. This plant should be large and leafing out, but you can see how dry this area is. We haven't been giving it all that much water. But this patch of taro root was growing from last season. We didn't harvest. Yeah, that's nice. So we're not getting as much production out of it as if I was giving it a regular watering, but there still is plenty of root for harvesting. Yeah, very nice.
Look at that, it's a lot.
Is it in good shape?
Yeah, this one we have to choose. See? Look at this. Oh, this is the father. It's big. I have to board.
I really like taro root. It's kind of like a extra mushy potato. And it's prepared very similar. Most commonly, you just peel it back and boil it. Throw it into a soup. You can slice them up. So Alice is thinking about making a dish called Bulanglang. Bulanglang. And as with most of our dishes, there'll probably be a slight variation from the traditional. But another thing she needs is squash. Now the Kabocha Squash, unfortunately, is not doing all that well because the mound over here is pretty parched. I haven't been doing much watering, The reason for that being is I've got all these merit collared seed pods over here that have been drying on the plants, and I didn't want to do any overhead watering and get those wet while those seeds were dry already. So I haven't been doing much hand watering out here, and that's the reason. But we've got some very dry mound back over here. I had mentioned in the previous video we've been around 100 degrees, a little under 100 degrees Fahrenheit for many days in a row now. And it does get very hot here. But that's not stopping Alice. She's still going to harvest the little Kabocha squash. Now you harvest these squash when they are green. And you basically peel them and cube them up. They're very tasty. And now she's going to harvest some more onion. While she's doing that, I wanted to give you guys an update on the jujube tree. Got a couple jujube trees growing back here, and you can see we've got some fruiting happening. Lots of flowers still ready to fruit. Some more fruiting here. Now the jujube, also known as Chinese date, is kind of like a, well, the varieties vary, but a lot of them kind of are like a crunchy apple when they're young, but as they mature they'll actually dry up right on the plant and shrivel up a bit and are very similar to a date. Here's another jujube, and I'll just stand in front of it to show you how large it is. This is at least 12 feet tall. And I had this tree cut down to about 5 feet prior to the growing season. So all of this is new growth, and all of it is flowering. And there's some really tiny fruits developing. It's probably hard to see. But it's looking like we're going to get some good jujubes this year. So Alice pointed out there's a few more long beans left on the plant here towards the end of July. So the plant is pretty much done with, but we're just going to harvest whatever beans are left and throw them on into the soup. And we got garlic that we picked earlier in the house.
Yeah, and then I have to get a little bit, maybe cucumber, because I see it.
Oh yeah.
That you have a cucumber.
Yeah, we need to harvest more Armenian cucumbers. We've been continually harvesting. We also got to harvest some opo, or calabash gourd. There's a monster Armenian cucumber. Not bad, not bad. Alice also mentioned she wants to add some lemongrass into this soup. So I'm going to pull out a little clump here.
Pour more, honey, because I need it for my my tea. Okay, wow, it's a lot. I smell it.
Yeah, it smells like pledge.
Yeah.
Even when you're making the tea inside, it makes the whole house smells like pledge. Look at that growth in just a few days. Ooh, careful.
I didn't know that the one is so really good.
Now, is that too mature for cooking or no?
No, it's not mature. It's all right.
Still
like
good?
The same, yeah.
There's another one down here.
Berry do that one, so I think you have to leave it.
Alright, she's also going to add in some zucchini squash into the bulanglang.
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 And then I'm gonna get this.
And a few of the squash flowers.
Yeah. Then I get more.
Nice.
I have an idea. I have to pick up some strawberry after we eat, and that's our.
Just a few strawberries, but a nice little treat. And check this out. This is a ashwagandha plant that volunteered itself in this raised bed as well. We've got a lot of volunteers in this bed. We've got some wild amaranth here. We've been taking some of these leaves and throwing them into some of our soups and meals as well, sautés. So there's the harvest, just a few minutes in the yard, and we've got lunch and dinner here. I'll quickly go over with you once again what we harvested. We got Armenian cucumbers, lemongrass, Kabocha squash, strawberries, green beans, cherry tomatoes, okra, taro root. We got calabash gourd, zucchini, squash flowers, some sweet potato greens or camote tops, and some onions. Not bad. I showed you in the last video how I've got a bunch of baby goldfish swimming around in here. It's actually a lot more than I originally thought. So what I'm going to do is turn off the fountain so that there's less disturbance of the water so you can see more clearly into the pond and see if I can get all these smaller goldfish to school together. Anyway, we got them all in the same area yesterday and we counted like 30 or more small goldfish, so we really have no idea what we're going to do with all these baby goldfish. This pond, which is 11 by 7 feet, is only adequate for maybe 7 or so of these comet goldfish, and we've already got 5 mature size. So Alice had the idea that we should get into the business of selling goldfish. I thought that was kind of funny. But anybody out there got any ideas? Love to hear from you. Life has continued to flourish over in this pond. Again, you can see all the bees coming in for a drink. There's some paper wasps amongst the bees. Also good garden buddies. But all in all, it's a nice day to spend out in the garden. We've got some overcast skies, so the sun's not pounding down too hard. I want to be harvesting some more seeds. I've got some very awesome varieties of tree kale yet to be introduced to you guys. Just noticed this, we've got a couple pears looks like are ripe here. Getting really close. Very nice. Are you going to cook outside, honey?
Yeah.
It's nice to cook outside. Keep the heat out of the kitchen, out of the house.
It's hot. Outside.
So that is the Kabocha squash. Just peel the skin off of it. Well, here's the finished product. Alice just got done cooking all the vegetables from the garden. Once again, using the rocket stove outside. Man, that looks good. So we're getting ready to enjoy our meal. So it looks like in addition to all the vegetables, she's added a can of sardines in here again?
Yes.
Okay. So this recipe here is based upon a traditional Filipino cuisine known as Bulanglang. It's just a slight variation based upon what we had in our garden available. So we're gonna, as we do with most of our dishes, gonna top some brown rice with this and enjoy.